to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
We're back, baby. We are back. And by we, I mean primarily me, because you've been staying with us. I have been gone for a while. I think I've taken a couple weeks off. It's been stressful. I know you guys can't really tell too much. I know my dresser normally has my belt on it and my switch, stuff like that. I've got, well, let me just slap my light really quick. I've got everything packed up for the most part, except for the big stuff. Guys, I'm moving out. It's my own place, starting on Friday. Sorry, not Thursday. Friday. So, very excited about that, but more excited to be back. Ben, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I met up with my family in Indianapolis today for dinner, which was a lot of fun. We did a little birthday dinner. My birthday is on Monday. So we met up in Indy, did that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Did that, and we're here. I would say thriving, but I don't know if that's the case, but we're here, and that's what matters.
Yeah. So Ben and I have talked, obviously, but before the podcast started, it's been a while. A very long time. I want to look at, just because I don't remember.
It's been 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Okay. So I missed the Bears bye, and then the Bears 2 games that they were dominant. So the 2 shows that probably would have been fun to do. But, unfortunately, we have to talk about this Commanders and Bears game. And I just want to go ahead and start it off, and we can throw this under weekly review. But I'll do it this way. We're gonna do a Bears rant as expected.
Ryan will be doing a Bears rant.
I will be, yeah. But we'll get to the Bears game in weekly review. But first, obviously, we got other games to kind of get to, and I don't want to waste any time. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Vikings lose to the Rams 20-30. So this game was frustrating because I do feel like the Vikings would have been put in a better position to potentially win this game if it wasn't for that god-awful face mask call that was missed after, right before the safety. That's the entire reason why they got the safety. And to me, the reason why, or the thing that really made me upset was that they can't review the play because there was no flag. And so they can review the play if it was a scoring play or not, but they didn't throw the flag, so they can't review it to see if there was a face mask call. That, in my opinion, is garbage. I think that face masks in that scenario, I think pass interferences, these things should be challengeable in crucial situations like this. And to make it even worse, there was an official staring right at Sam Darnold when his head twisted around the way that it did. Ben, what was your reaction for this?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you could tell that it was definitely a face mask because Byron Young, the guy who got the sack, made the sack.
Oh, it was burst.
Stood up.
Who's Jared Verse?
All right. Well, Jared Verse, but Byron Young had ducked his head like this and put his hands like kind of on his helmet like this and walked away because he knew it was a face mask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with the point that a call like that should be reviewable, but at the end of the day, that didn't make or break the game. They were losing that game either way. I hate to say it. There was like 12 seconds left in the game, I think, at that point.
Oh,
that
no, that
happened.
was a while, man.
I do not think it was a while. I'm pretty sure the game was like all but wrapped over. Like it was less than a minute left in that game when that had happened.
I'm gonna fact check you, but keep going.
Yeah, but that was not going to affect the outcome of the game. The Rams were going to win either way. So for the people that were like outraged, I understand the outrage behind it. The Vikings were losing either way, and I hate to say it, but
there was a minute 36 left, and they were down 8.
Okay, a minute 36 left, and they were down 8 when it happened. So they would have had to march down the field in a minute 30 in a game in which the offense really didn't have much going. I mean, like it wasn't like this was like the shootout and each team was hanging up 40 points. They had to move down the field with a minute 30 left, score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, and then get the onside kick and recover it, and then hopefully do something with it from there as well. So there was so much stuff that had to fall into place for that to even have an effect on the game. I think it'd be different if it was a missed face.
I'm sorry. Why would they need an onside kick if they were down 8? If they were able to score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion,
and then have to do an onside kick to win the game is what I'm saying.
Oh, they could win in overtime.
They could go into overtime, but I'm talking about for them to win the game, for the fans saying, like, we didn't win the game because of this. Like, there's so much that had to have happened for all of this to go on for them to win. At the end of the day, that face mask, they were losing either way. And it's the NFL, and it's easy to say that because stuff could happen. The chances of that being, like, the deciding factor and the Vikings marching down the field, getting a touchdown, doing the 2-point was slim anyways. I don't think that one specific play actually had that much of an impact on the actual game. Again, it's something that should be reviewable, and I understand the outrage, but I don't think that actually impacted what the final outcome of the game would have been either way.
We'll never know, and that's the disappointing thing. But going on to the noon slate, Packers beat the Jaguars 30-27. Their team kind of got a little banged up. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, all kind of leaving at least, briefly with injuries. Malik Willis able to kind of save the game for the Packers, which is just funny to me, honestly. This is surprising to me because the Jaguars had a great fight in this game, whereas just a couple weeks ago, the Bears were, they decimated that team. And, the Jaguars also traded away Roy Robertson-Harris, which, you would assume have a little more of an effect on this game as well. So the fact that they traded away one of their key defensive pieces and was able to keep it a close game with the Packers, it was a fun hate watch. But at the end of the day,
the Packers in which they had a backup quarterback in. Let's not get that confused. It's not like Jordan Love was playing the entire game. Malik Willis did come in this game. So let's note that first off.
Yeah, I don't think that he played bad though.
No, I don't think he played bad, but it's definitely different when you have a backup versus a starter in.
Oh, for sure. No matter what. But in this game, for the Packers, Malik Willis had one incomplete pass. He threw for 56 yards and a touchdown, and I think he only played for maybe half of the fourth quarter. So, he didn't play bad, but overall, way higher scoring than I thought that this game would be. I thought the Packers would win this one in, pretty easy fashion as well. speaking of high scoring game, I'm just going to skip that one. I think we covered everything on that. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
But
No, you're good.
this one, I'll probably, ask a little more of your input on. Falcons, Buccaneers. I think we're in for a classic every time these two teams play from here on out. I know I said that the Buccaneers were going to win, but I did also say in my predictions to make sure that you take the over, because this team, or I guess these teams, do really, really good for some reason against each other offensively. And it's always a shootout. And it was a fun Thursday night game to watch. But then you look at this and it's like, wow, now we've got constant showdown at noon, with these two teams. It's going to be fun going forward. But what'd you think about the Buccaneers and how they were able to recover without Mike Evans or Chris Godwin?
Well, that was a big thing that did surprise me. I picked the Bucs to win this one, strictly just because, again, it's always, it seems like it's going to be a dogfight whenever these two teams play. But the Buccaneers actually did better than what I would have thought. And to be frank, if Baker didn't throw 2 interceptions in this game, they probably could have won. The fact that they were in that without their 2 best weapons in the game really shows to you like how good this offensive scheme is. And I'm a little bit of a Baker hater, but the fact he was able to keep them in this game says something about him. Again, the 2 interceptions definitely impacted the game. But I mean, Cade Otton stepped up, man. 9 catches, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. So.
Definitely good. Next up, Browns beat the Ravens, which, by the way, this was a fun watch only for the reason that it was Jameis Winston at quarterback. And forgive me if I'm wrong. Let me see what the stats were for those of you that like to stat watch. Jameis Winston, he played well. 27 completions, 41 attempts. So only 14 incompletions on 41 attempts. So 65% completion percentage, 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you're a Browns fan, I mean, you got to be excited about this, right? And then you're also probably questioning, why haven't we started this guy to begin with? Jameis Winston is just overall a good feel guy, which is pretty much the opposite of Deshaun Watson. He's a bad feel guy. But, I'm surprised that they were able to stop the Ravens offense the way that they were. I mean, the more that you dive into it, now, Derrick Henry, he rushed 11 times for 73 yards and a touchdown. Now, that is crazy, but that's not good for Derrick Henry. And he didn't play that well at halftime. I was stunned. I want to say they kept him underneath, 30 rushing yards for that first half. And Derrick Henry as well. He scored that touchdown late in the fourth quarter, which, 2:36 left in the fourth quarter. And then Jameis Winston just led the Browns when they needed him the most. With a minute left, he threw a pass to Cedric Tillman for 38 yards, and it was a touchdown, which, by the way, the resurgence of Cedric Tillman is awesome. I love to follow that. And if you for some reason, if your fantasy league hasn't picked up Cedric Tillman, you need to do that as soon as possible. But what do you think?
I don't know if I'd call it a resurgence, but definitely a surgence.
Surgence, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm rusty, apparently. I mean, whatever. But yeah.
Yes. No, the big thing with this one is, again, whenever these in-division teams play each other, especially in this division, we're going to see games like this. But every single time that the Ravens are going to lose a game, it's because they're going to stray away from what they want to do. And that's going to be run the football with Lamar and run the football with Derrick Henry. And that's exactly what happened when they lost the Chiefs. And that's exactly what happened in this game. If Derrick Henry is only getting 11 touches, you're going to lose the game. And I understand if you're down, you can't run it as much. But even if you're down, you have to work this guy into your game plan. He is one of the best running backs in the NFL. And when you stray away from him, you're going to get losses like that. And again, it's shown every single time they're going to lose, or the last 2 times they've lost games like that, it's because they strayed away from getting him his touches. Hopefully they can learn from that and say, hey, we're down. We still need to get him his touches, though.
Yeah. Next up, Colts and Texans. Again, a closer game than I had expected. However, we did see an injury on this one. Stephon Diggs suffered a season-ending knee injury on Sunday. By the way, I didn't mention this, but Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw also had a season-ending knee injury on Thursday night. The Vikings also traded for Jaguars left tackle Cam Robinson to fill a spot. Serviceable. It's going to fill the need for them, so it'll be okay for the rest of the season, but okay at best. I'm trying to kind of combine two segments at once as well, so I'm going to try and kind of flip back and forth between our weekly news and these games. But regarding the Colts and Texans game, the big headline out of it is that Anthony Richardson asked out of the game because he was tired. It's interesting to say the least, just because, Anthony Richardson's performance so far in the NFL has been pretty lackluster. I just want to know I want to know what your perspective is. I did expect the Texans to win this game, but I mean, this was way more close than I thought it would be.
If you're going to be that guy, and given, again, I'll get into the benching here in a second, but if you're going to be that guy at quarterback, you can't just take yourself out of the game. He's tapping, saying, "Oh, take me out. I'm tired. There wasn't an injury. We've seen a guy like Matt Stafford, bro, like messed up his shoulder joint and went back into the game, and we've seen him do this time after time. And you're sitting here taking yourself out of the game on a crucial play at this point. It was 3rd and goal when you took yourself out. Why are we taking ourselves out as our supposed franchise quarterback because you're tired? And again, I don't want to I don't know him as a person. Reports are he is a very, very good person, but I don't want that dude as my leader. The fact that we're taking it just the drive is not there. The want is not there. If you're taking yourself out on 3rd and goal and you win this game, you're sitting in the driver's seat of this division. But you took yourself out on 3rd and goal because you were tired. Not because you were hurt, but because you were tired.
It's the NFL, buddy. You're going to get tired because you're playing with all pro athletes that are ridiculously they're professionals. But the whole benching stuff. I from a Shane Steichen point of view and from a point of view of someone who wants to keep his job and Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen in that staff, I understand why they're putting Flacco in. Flacco this year gives them the best chance to win and allow them to keep their jobs. Yeah.
From running an organization the proper way, it makes no sense that you did this because you drafted Anthony Richardson knowing he was going to be a project. He wasn't your Carson Beck in terms of this draft class. He's not the guy that was going to come in, step in, and be a good to average quarterback right away. You drafted him knowing he played a whopping 8 games in college and that he was going to need time to figure it out. Oh, he's fast. He has a big arm, and he's shown that. But he needed molding. He needed refining around the edges. And why are we taking him out? That just doesn't make any sense. That's no way to run an organization when you're taking that swing at the quarterback, when you're taking that dude with the traits. You have to sit in and you have to let him play. You have to let him figure things out. And they're not doing that. And from this year point of view, it makes sense. But let's say you go 9-8 or 10-7 and you sneak into the playoffs, you're losing in the first round. And what's your plan next year? Because it sure isn't developing Anthony Richardson because you've shown the want to not to do that by taking him out and not letting him play. So and that's the most frustrating thing too, is they came out and they doubled down today saying this isn't a one-time thing. Like, this isn't for this game. This is the plan for the entire season. And I think this can change if Joe Flacco comes in and they're not winning games. I think they're going to probably throw him back in. But it just does not make any sense in terms of developing a team for the future to take this guy out at this point in his career. Again, he's played 8 games in college, and through week 8 of this season, he's played something like 10 NFL games. So this dude has played 18 games in total in college and the NFL, and we're taking him out. How are we expected to let him learn? It does not make any sense. And to be frank, I wasn't happy with the way they were using him in the first place. Obviously, he's hit the big plays down the field, which is awesome. To succeed, you need to hit swing passes out to your running backs or something like that. But one of the big appeals from him was his ability to run, and they're not even allowing him to do that in the offense. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I do not like about this decision and the offense that they're running for him in the future of this organization. It's really grinding my gears. I could talk about it for another 20 minutes, so we can move on.
I want to hit on a couple things. We're going to speed things along a little bit just because we haven't gotten to, big trade news yet. And obviously we've got the rest of our normal segments to cover as well. Cardinals. And I have my Bears rant that I have to at least spend probably a good 10 minutes on. Cardinals beat the Dolphins 28-27. If I remember correctly, there was a pretty decent collapse. Yeah. So Miami was up, I want to say it was 20-7, and they ended up blowing it. They gave up 21 points in the second half. So it's bad. Also, I'm not even going to entertain this comment. I'm very, we'll talk about this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. Anyways, Patriots beat the Jets 25-22. Jets just a complete meltdown right now. Who cares? And like I said, there's a common denominator that nobody wants to talk about, and he plays quarterback for the New York Jets. So, just keep that in mind. Ben, I'm going to ask you for your input on this one. Hold on. Lions beat the crap out of the Titans. What else is new? Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. Bengals fall to 3-5. What's your perspective on this one?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm happy. I'm not fully sold. And I probably won't be until we win a playoff game because I've seen this team collapse, but we're moving in the right direction. And I love to see that. And they're having fun, and that's the big thing. We're seeing these guys having fun on the sidelines, jumping around, joking with each other. And when the Eagles are having fun, this is when this team starts to gel. And that's what we saw in 2022 when they made it to the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. So we saw in 2017 when they won the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Once this team starts getting their aura back, this is when they start picking it up. And I said it after that Browns win. I feel like this team is going to start picking things up and start going on a run, which we absolutely love. And the defense is actually starting to show out. And I think a big piece of that is Cooper DeJean. I talked to you about it privately. I don't think he's obviously the best player, but he was the linchpin, and he's kind of the skeleton key of this defense. As soon as he's stepped in, everything is starting to improve. The secondary starts to improve, which makes that quarterback hold on to the ball a half second longer, which allows your defensive line to get back there and get the sacks, which we were missing the earlier parts of the season. So we're here for it. Again, I'm not fully bought in, and I probably won't get fully bought in. But Jalen Hurts is finally balling out and looking like Jalen Hurts as well. So we're moving in the right direction, and we're happy for that.
Right. Next up, let's see. Saints and Chargers. Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. Saints just having a complete meltdown. Bills beat the Seahawks 31-10. Josh Allen looks great. It's just Amari Cooper with a dud of a day. Not great. But here's where I'll start, and I'll entertain this comment because whatever. First off, okay, put in Bagent? Absolutely not. Caleb Williams is going to win this game for you. In fact, he almost did. He had 2 almost game-winning drives in the fourth quarter when the offense looked putrid from the get-go. I also took a look at your profile, the Ghost of Judah Tribe. Thanks for commenting. I do appreciate it. However, I looked at your profile and you haven't been a fan of Caleb since he started. So the fact that you're saying that you're not impressed and that you should put in Bagent, I just want to say, hey, I don't know what he has to do to impress you. He apparently sucks on the road and he beats up chump teams. Hey, guess what? We have a rookie quarterback, and that's kind of what they do. He says Caleb Williams is a bum. I respect your opinion. However, I think that you're incredibly wrong.
I don't. And I'm sure you're going to go on and not to cut you off. But again, this goes back to the whole, like, Anthony, like, he's a rookie quarterback, dude. He's not going to step in fine. And most recent game wasn't very fine, but I'm saying he's not season as a whole.
It's been fine.
Yes, he's not going to step in and be amazing immediately, and that's funny because he went up against a guy like Jay Daniels who is doing great. But that's a whole narrative too that's like rubbing me the absolute wrong way as a fan, like on the outside, like. People are already saying he's a bust. They already whiffed, and they did that. Good for Daniels. That is not the status quo. Jaden Daniels stepping in as a rookie and balling out is not what you're used to. It took Stroud a couple weeks to get good, and I've talked about it before. Like, let's not rule a guy out 8 games into the season, especially when we're looking at Tyson Bagent, of all people. If we're calling for Tyson Bagent, dude,
I'm gonna stop you.
What
right
are you
here.
talking? And excuse, dude, I'm not a Bears fan. Like, if you're watching football and you're blaming a rookie quarterback, I don't know what you're doing. You clearly don't know what you're talking about.
Ben, hold on a minute.
Thank you for commenting, but this is just bad.
Ben, hold on just a minute. I'm gonna put this to rest right now because I'm 1,000% positive this is just bait. Listen, you want to say that Caleb sucks on the road and he beats up chump teams, right? Tyson Bagent played 3 home games and 2 away games. He lost on the road both times. He threw for 67% and then 60%. 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the road. Tyson Bagent sucks on the road. Who did he beat? He beat the Vegas Raiders, and then he beat the Carolina Panthers 16-13. How many touchdowns did he score in that one? 1. 1 touchdown against those 2 terrible teams, and we're talking last year. Tyson Bagent sucks. How about that? I mean, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to stop entertaining your comments because I'm getting frustrated over that, and I'm not even trying to get there.
I'm not even a Bears fan, and like this is frustrating me. Like, I don't get under, like, I don't
doesn't make sense
why we're calling for his job. Like,
I mean, listen, here's the thing. He was I'm not going to entertain this guy in his comments anymore because of the things that he said about Caleb pre-draft and the titles of his videos and everything. You aren't speaking factual information at all. You have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, going forward.
But thank you for the comment and the engagement. I do appreciate that.
I do appreciate that. Yeah. So going forward, I want to put this on. And surprise, surprise, it's not the quarterback's fault. It's the coach's fault again. But everybody could see it at this point. It's front and center that the coach cannot provide any kind of, movement for this offense. I have no idea what happened during the bye week, but whatever it wasn't productive, except for the fact that they cut Velus Jones Jr. That was a great move. But anyways, all right, here's what we're going to do here. You're in timeout. So
no, I did like his comments. That's for sure though.
I didn't want to ban him. I put him in timeout. So yeah, he's gonna stop blowing up the comments with nonsense. Anyways, so the one point that I want to make is that Matt Eberflus, in my opinion, and this is something that we talked about on Twitter at some point in time. So if you follow me, I'm sure you might have seen one of my replies to this. Do you think, as Bears fans, that Matt Eberflus is going to be a Super Bowl winning coach for the Chicago Bears? At this point, after 3 years and not winning a single game on the road on a Sunday, do you think that this man is capable? Has he showed you any kind of flashes as a head coach in the leadership that he has had not only in the locker room, but the competence to be able to create and maintain a good coaching staff. Do you think this is the guy? Or maybe, just maybe, should you have opened up the role and started getting a little bit more of, more interviews in and coaching candidates? I'm telling you what.
Ben Johnson.
I'm pounding the table for Ben Johnson. I need him on my football team because this is garbage. More and more every single year, I always hear the same exact thing. It's not the coach's fault, or it's not the quarterback's fault. It's the coach's fault. Why is it every single time that this is what we're looking at? Caleb has shown flashes, okay? And the one thing that makes me very mad about this is the fact that we are this close to making a completely fatal mistake in a season where we've shown so much potential. Now, I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I said it as a joke before the season started because there was lots of hype surrounding the Bears, but obviously didn't mean it. If you're going into the season next year with Matt Eberflus, the stadium's going to burn down. Like, people are not happy. And the product that you're putting on field, it's a lack of preparation. I don't know what happened on the bye week. You're not explaining that. And I understand it should be in-house. But the lack of, I guess, what's the word? Accountability from this head coach, week in and week out, we have to execute better. Newsflash, buddy, the team counts you as well. It's not just the players on the field. What you're doing is not a good job, not a good enough job. You have a player that's trash-talking fans in the stands. Now, I don't care what Tyreek Stevenson has to say. I met the guy. Hey, great dude. However, I cannot stand the fact that I was talking to Bears fans. You're lying to the people. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no way, because you're sitting here, you're mocking people. You're telling them to get louder and stuff, and then whatever. Yeah, you don't do that motion to Bears fans. Your head coach is stupid, and it's to the point to where he won't call a timeout when his team isn't prepared. And I'm not talking about just 10 guys were prepared. There needs to be, on the final play of the game, if this is the situation that you're in, first off, that play that got Terry McLaurin an extra 13 yards should have never happened, and I'll get there too. But that Hail Mary, you need all 11 guys on alert. Hey, this is the last play of the game. I need you here. I don't care what they're doing. I guarantee you they're still going to be throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the day. Call your timeout. You had 2 of them. You call your timeout. You talk to the guys on the sideline. You make sure everybody on the field is on the same exact page. You get them to focus, and you win the game. It's that simple. But to sit here and say, regardless of, what happened, hey, well, it doesn't necessarily matter if we called a timeout or if we adjusted our defense on the play that got, the Commanders 13 yards on a Terry McLaurin pass play. It didn't matter because they were going to throw the Hail Mary and probably win the game anyway. You're fired if I'm the GM. You're fired. It was bound to happen. No, it's not bound to happen. It's your job as the defensive-minded head coach to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. You didn't let up a touchdown the entire game. And the whole reason why you let up a touchdown to that team in the first place is because you didn't prepare your team enough right before the play happened when you had all the possibility in the world to do it. I'm just saying I'm frustrated to go on radio shows and say we didn't need a timeout there. Like, you're a moron. You're a moron. You have no idea. The clock management this season has been horrible. In the entire game, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, we have 3 timeouts going into one of our last drives. We have plenty of time to be able to manage the clock the way that we need to. Why are we doing, by the way, a lineman run when that's never happened for us yet before? It didn't work yet. This is something to where you need a touchdown right now, and Roschon Johnson's on the field, and he's 4 for 4 on these situations. Why are we not running the ball right up the middle? And I know that's not Eberflus. That's Waldron thinking, maybe I'll be creative here. You know what creative gets you? Ask the Seattle Seahawks when they were in the Super Bowl, and they were like, oh, let's get creative. I guarantee you that'll win you a lot of games, Shane. Great job, moron. You guys suck. You suck at your jobs. I'm sick and tired of this team, man. They need to figure out something soon. And I'm not expecting Matt Eberflus to be fired by the end of the season. I'll let you know that right now. But like something needs to change because, and he should, but it's the Chicago Bears and they don't do that. But the thing is, something needs to change, and it needs to change now. The game against the Cardinals, and we will talk about that. The game against the Cardinals is a must win now. You lose that game, you're out of here, or at least should be. Like, this is your opportunity to go into your divisional games, which, by the way, it's a gauntlet. Good luck. You've got 6 of them out of the remaining, 10 games that they have? If you don't win these next 2 games to put yourself in a position to where you're 6-3 and have a shot at a playoff spot, you might as well just start packing your stuff. That's where I'm at. Let's go ahead and finish up with the weekly review. Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20. Wait. Sorry, I apologize. I'm gonna
do this. I'm gonna do this really quickly. And I doubt he's even here anymore because he left. But again, I'm an outside fan, and that was even making me mad. And the fact that like Bears fans exist that are like that, absolutely mind-boggling. I'm going to read off 4 players and their rookie year stats. Just we're throwing that out there, and then we can move on. Josh Allen in his rookie year had 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Peyton Manning in his rookie year had 26 touchdowns to 28 interceptions. Andrew Luck, his rookie year, he had 23 touchdowns and 18 interceptions. And Matt Stafford had 13 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. I absolutely hate that narrative. Rookies can come in and learn. I just named off Josh Allen, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, Peyton Manning, who's a Hall of Fame, Andrew Luck, who probably would have been in the Hall of Fame if he stayed his entire career in the NFL, and at one point was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when he played, and Matt Stafford, a dude who is borderline going to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's not do this whole Caleb Williams thing already, and I cannot imagine how it is being a Bears fan and hearing comments like that. I'm not even a Bears fan. I'm unbiased, and that kind of conversation gets me heated.
Well, while we're on this game,
frustrating
because this made me mad because I just thought about it, and it makes me even more mad that I forgot about it in the first place. Can we stop slobbing on Jaden Daniels? Like, it's crazy. I mean, the dude didn't play that great of a game. For God's sake, dude. He got lucky on one touchdown throw. Like, it was a tipped pass.
Jaden Daniels didn't look very good in this particular game, but Jaden Daniels
he looks good. That's fine.
Better than the 2 quarterbacks for sure, and he was playing on a pretty bad rib injury. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of a pass. He still threw for 326 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. So he still looked fine. But I do agree. The fact that we're comparing these 2 guys already 8 games into the season is wild.
Just because Jaden Daniels is playing good doesn't mean the Bears made the wrong decision. You know what they made the wrong decision of? Their head coach and their offensive coordinator. Kick rocks. If you think this is Caleb's fault, which, by the way, any Bears fan that says that it's his fault for handing the ball off wrong to the O-lineman, guess what? He's a freaking O-lineman. He doesn't train with the running backs. He doesn't know what he's doing. They fumbled the ball because he's an O-lineman. What you need to do there is let the O-lineman just be the lead blocker, get Roschon Johnson in the end zone. All of a sudden, hey, look at that. That's crazy. We're in the end zone. We scored 6 points. It's nuts. It's crazy how football works. Anyways. Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20.
Anyways,
who cares?
How long is the Ghosts of Judah tribe banned for, by the way, for comment?
He was timed out for a good few minutes. I don't know if he left or not, but
Okay,
it
I
is
was
what
just
it is.
wondering. Anyways,
Let's see. Yeah, he should be unbanned. I don't know why it says banned on our side, but it's not. I checked our YouTube channel. We timed him out.
okay.
Anyways, Broncos beat the Panthers 28-14. Woo.
No shocker.
49ers beat the Cowboys 30-24. Tight end day. Kittle went off as expected. Which, by the way, a tight end day parlay was made, and I am very disappointed that I wasn't the guy that did that. Steelers beat the Giants 26-18. Giants looked horrible in that game. I'm going to go ahead and move on because we just got to weekly news at this point, and we're 40 minutes into the episode. So next up, I just want to just breeze over these trades. Chiefs have traded a 6th-round pick in exchange for Patriots edge rusher Josh Uche. This was just an absolute fleece in my opinion because he's on his last year for his contract, and if he were to opt out and test free agency and sign with a different team, Chiefs get a comp pick if he's not retained. So in my opinion, you keep him for the Super Bowl run, win another Super Bowl ring, and then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? We don't have to re-sign you. Thank you for your service. Have a good one. All of a sudden, you're up a 4th-round pick, and you traded a 6th for a 4th, or whatever it is, 5th or whatever it is. But Ravens have traded a 5th-round pick for the Panthers, Deontay Johnson, and a 6th. Hey, guess what? Another receiver trade where they traded him for a bag of chips. That's insane. But at the same time, the Deontay Johnson, I don't expect to have as good of a role as like DeAndre Hopkins does for the Chiefs. I expect him to kind of be a little bit better. But I think Deontay Johnson, especially because of the reports that were released today, he's going to be like 2nd or 3rd on the depth chart. So it's not going to be super big, but it's just another weapon for Lamar to throw down to in late game situations. What do you think?
You with like the comp pick, that makes no sense. Like if you were the Panthers and you chose that, hey, we don't want to keep him, that's fine. Don't pay him, and you're gonna.
Oh,
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 right here.
Yep, you're here now. There you go.
All right, but you're gonna get more from the comp pick than you got in return for the Ravens. So even from like the Ravens aspect, you let him go, like you said, you're gonna get that back in what he's gonna get from his comp, because he's going to go out and he's going to sign a $20 million a year contract or $15 million a year contract. And you just got your pick back that you traded for. It doesn't make any sense.
And then lastly, as we already mentioned, Colts are benching Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco. So after that, we can go ahead and move on to our next segment.
Just when you thought it was safe to play the underdog, we put you on Upset Alert.
Also, side note, because I know we're on this site still, and I had addressed that last time I was on here. I'm still waiting on our drops to be made. So, just to be completely honest with you guys, that's why we haven't jumped ship. So StreamYard just robbed me of more money. So there's that. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Do expect some changes, though, soon. Upset alert. I've got a lot of them. I'm going to be honest with you.
6.
1, 2,
I got
3,
6.
4, 5, 6. I have 8.
You have the slate.
Yeah.
I'll do my 6 since you got more. I'll do my 6. And then you let me know which ones are part of your 8, and then you can just cover the ones from there.
Cool.
So first one is actually going to be the game tomorrow, Texans versus Jets. Strictly
Why are the Jets
because
favored in this?
strictly, well, for me, I think the Jets. I think the Texans are favored. I could be wrong.
No, Jets are favored at minus 125 right now.
Wow, that's awful. Well, then I guess it could go either way. But the reason I have this is because I think it's only a matter of time until the Jets do win a game with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. It has to happen at some point, right? And that's kind of my thought process with this, and that might be a flawed thought process, but that's there. Moving on to the first slate of games, actually only have one, or the first slate of games on Sunday only have one. It's actually going to be the Saints versus Panthers. The Saints have looked incredibly bad, and given Derek Carr is coming back, and he did a whole quote on how he's not like the savior and whatnot. But I could see the Panthers winning this game just because it's a divisional game. Bryce Young, this is going to be a second start back after being benched, and the Saints are just absolutely in shambles. Moving on to that 4 o'clock slate, or 4 o'clock my time, I got 2 free guys. That's going to be the Rams versus Seahawks. I could really see this game going either way. And I don't know who the favored one for this game is exactly, but I could see this game going either way, and especially with Matt Stafford having both of his 2 main targets back.
Rams
we
are
saw
favored.
how much,
minus 120.
Yeah. So again, Vegas agrees with me that this could go either way. And the Seahawks, when they're hot, we can see like how they're doing. So I could really see this game going either way. Lions and Packers. The Lions obviously look like the best team in the NFC. That is no doubt. Again, this just comes back to this being a divisional game. You never know. This is at Lambeau. Crazy things happen at Lambeau in divisional games. Colts versus Vikings. This is in Minnesota. I could see Flacco stepping in and doing stuff because they do have good pieces. They do have Pittman. They have Josh Downs. They have Alec Pierce. They have Jonathan Taylor. So they have pieces for it to get done as long as they can get someone to deliver them the ball. And we had talked
There
about
was
that.
also their DeForest Buckner should be returning shortly as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. But yes.
And then the last game is going to be Monday Night Football. It's the Chiefs versus Bucks. Chiefs are the Chiefs, and it's crazy that I even have to like put this on there. The Chiefs probably are going to win this game, and probably by a lot. But I have, again, crazy to say, not been impressed at all with how Pat has played.
They're bad. I'll say it. They're bad.
Well, they're not bad. I mean, the defense is keeping them in the games, but that offense is not getting anything done.
Again, I know that.
Exactly.
That's a fun scenario to be in.
I could see that. I could see that game going either way as well.
So I had Texans and Jets. Jets favored at minus 125. I have Cowboys and Falcons. Falcons are favored at minus 148. I think the Cowboys could, pull one out. It's just one of those games where it's like it could happen, Chargers minus 120 against the Browns. I think the Browns could actually win that one, and they're at home as well. Dolphins and Bills. Bills are favored at minus 265. Now, Tua's back. I think they perform well in Buffalo as well, but it is what it is. Patriots and Titans. Titans are favored at minus 185. Why? This team is awful.
Titans are favored. Oh my goodness.
Yes. That team is awful. Saints, like you said, Saints are minus 355 favorites against the Panthers. I just hate that, honestly. That feels like a trap line. But Bears and Cardinals. The Cardinals edge rushers, more so their pass rush, not that impressive. So we'll see exactly how much that plays into it. Take the under, I will say. But yes. I expect this game to kind of fall the same exact way that the Bears and Rams game did, if you remember that one. Kind of low scoring. Bears end up winning that one. But Cardinals are favored at minus 122. Lions minus 175 against the Packers. I don't know if Jordan Love is expected to play right now, but nonetheless, quarterback controversy time, baby. Malik Willis is undefeated. So, just saying. So, we'll see. These are obviously just ones that I'm putting on upset alert, but who knows what we're doing until our very next segment.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick'em.
All right, Ben, here we go. You're going to give me, we're going to do our picks and everything, but we're going to kind of speed through this a little bit because we do have College Corner to get to as well as Pigskin Payout. So let's go ahead and get to it. Starting with tomorrow's game, Texans and Jets. Who you got?
Jets. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen at some point. And with Diggs out and Nico still out, I think this is the fourth week. I think Nico can come back next week. I could be wrong, and they're going to sorely need him. But with both those wide receivers hurt, and maybe John Mechie, steps up and steps up and into that role. But it's bound to happen that the Jets are going to win again. Jets.
Tank Dell, big game incoming, hopefully.
Oh, for sure.
I have the Texans winning this one. It's just CJ Stroud. And after watching him play against the Bears, I know now more than ever that he's good, man. Saints and Panthers. Who you got?
We're going to continue kind of picking the least likely team here. We're going with the Panthers. Again, in division, Bryce Young has something to prove now that he's back. And again, the Saints really have not moved the needle since those first 2 weeks. Sorry, Matt, but I'm picking the Panthers here.
I'm right there with you. I'm actually going the Panthers as well. Commanders and Giants. I think we're on the same page here.
I think we're both going to be in agreement here. And if not, what are we doing?
Commanders, yeah. Dolphins and Bills.
I'm going with the Bills. Again, with the addition of Amari Cooper, it's really freed up Keon Coleman to feast. And until I see something out of Tua, I can't pick him. So I'm going with the Bills.
I'm going with the Dolphins. I expect Tua to kind of, perform a little bit better. I think they're going to finish stronger. Chargers and Browns.
This was one of the more difficult games for me, and I've really gone back and forth on this one. I'm going Chargers. I think Jameis looked good. I don't think Jameis is going to look this good throughout the rest of the season. As much as I love him, he's awesome. I just don't think he's going to look this good the entire season. I'm going to go with the Chargers. And Ladd McConkey had his first breakout game, and let's see if he can continue to build on that. So I'm going Chargers.
I will also go Chargers. Patriots and Titans. I think we're on the same page here, right?
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that the Titans were favored in this one.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, upset alert for sure. What are we doing? Cowboys and Falcons.
I'm going Falcons. I just have not been impressed by anything that the Cowboys have put out on the field. It's Falcons. Yeah. Pretty easy for me too, but
I'm going to go Falcons as well on the screw Mike McCarthy train. If you guys remember, throwback for that one.
That. If you know, you know.
Yeah. Raiders at Bengals.
The Bengals aren't this bad. Well, you might think so, Ryan, because I know you kind of faded the Bengals going into the season. The Bengals, there's no way the Bengals are this bad. The Bengals are winning.
I'm going with the Bengals as well. Broncos and Ravens, I think we're right there together as well. Ravens. And then the dreaded 305 game, 405 for you. Bears and Cardinals. By the way, I don't know, so I know that I've been sharing our notes like within the past few weeks regarding our picks and stuff. Have you noticed on the afternoon slate, I'm on a tear, dude. I think I've only missed like 2 games this season. It's crazy. Anyway.
I think the Bears, what is it, the first time since 2021 that they've won a road game or something like that?
No, see, it's a noon game on a Sunday. They haven't won since 2021. And I'm not talking I'm talking noon game that has to be away, has to be on a Sunday. So
this isn't a noon game, but
yeah, it's a 305 game. So here's where that plays a part, but I'm going with my Bears.
I'm going with the Bears too. I think the Bears get a victory on the road.
It's going to be fun to see Caleb play against Budda Baker because that guy's really, really good. Jags and Eagles. Man, your game against Doug Peterson is not living up to the hype that we thought it would in the season.
Honestly, I could see the Eagles losing this one. Like that's.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying they will, and I'm not saying that's what I'm pick. Like I'm picking the Eagles to win. But
I was gonna say,
Jags cover. The line's at 7.5. Eagles win. Jags cover.
Let's see. Okay. I put that in there for you. But I disagree. I think you're going to have some fun this weekend. I think the Eagles are going to win. Jaguars are banged up, man. They have Brian Thomas, who's out this week. Travis Etienne.
Wait, is Brian Thomas officially out?
I mean, like, he's trending towards being out. I'm sure he's doubtful. And then Travis Etienne as well as Tank Bigsby are both banged up as well. It's going to be tough to get that offense moving. I think Christian Kirk's out as well. Not Christian Kirk. Gabe Davis is out as well. It's just not going to be a fun time for the Eagles or for the Jags.
For the Jags.
Rams and Seahawks. I'm going Rams.
Yeah, I'm going Rams. Again, now that this team is fully healthy, I liked the Rams going into the season. It was hard to watch because their two best weapons, or two of the three best weapons, were hurt. Their two best wide receivers. Now that they're back, the Rams are right back on schedule where I thought they were going to be. Rams.
Who you got in the Lions and Packers game?
Lions.
Okay. I'm going Lions as well. Colts and Vikings.
Colts. Give me the Colts, man. Give me the Colts. I think they can get it done with Joe Flacco.
Okay. I'm going Vikings. I will fade your pick. Vikings at home, man. It's a tough game. And then on primetime as well, we'll see. Primetime, Sam Darnold. Bucks and Chiefs. I think we both know.
Yeah.
I'm rolling my eyes here. All right. I'm excited for this next segment. I've got an absolute banger for you guys.
Hit last week, by the way.
Yeah.
They say winning isn't everything, and that may be true in some cases. But right now, let's make some money. It's time for Pigskin Payout.
All right. So I'm throwing myself in this new apartment on Friday. And I'm hoping.
Gloat really quickly. Hold on. I want to gloat. I told you guys to take the over on cup yards, which was so scary because until that final drive, told you took the cup yards over on Justin Jefferson yards. And then I said either anytime touchdown score or over on Devontae Smith, your pick, both hit. And
buddy, you're glitching out like crazy. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh wait, yeah, go for it. Go for it. You're good now. Yeah.
And then over on Saquon yards and everything hit. So if you guys would have followed me, that parlay was at like plus like 900 or something.
Wow.
So anyway.
Well, I've got an absolute banger for you here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs.
My Lord.
We're getting crazy here. We're getting a little spicy with it. Just a little sprinkle. Can't help. Or can't hurt, I mean. Parlay odds are at plus 46.59, baby. We're making money. Texans plus 1.5 against the Jets. Ravens -9 against who are they playing? I completely forgot. Against the Broncos. Browns plus 1.5 against the Chargers. Dolphins plus 6 against the Bills. That spread is ridiculous. Panthers plus 7.5 against the Saints. I know it's gonna be scary to bet on the Panthers. Rams -1.5. $10 pays $475.90, baby. Let's win some money this week.
Wow.
Ben, what you got for us?
We're gonna do my simple 3 to 4 legs that I've done all season. It's worked relatively well for me. And I usually like to go after the player props, which sucks sometimes. Sometimes we get, like, by the time we were recording, we have the player props out for like all the way up to the noon game. And sometimes you have a game like this where you don't have any of those out, and the only player props you have is for Thursday Night Football. And that's kind of what we're stuck with here. So I'm taking over on Breland Allen's rushing yards at 20.5. I'm taking over, as Ryan mentioned, Tank Dell breakout game, monster game for him. So we're taking over his yards at 56.5. And then, to the dismay of the Ghosts of Judah tribe, taking Bears money line.
Wow.
That puts you at plus, and that's the first time I've put a Bears money line in a game. So please, Bears, don't let me down.
Bear with us.
That puts you overall at plus 581, $10 to win $68.
So, nice.
Woo.
All right. So I'm making the executive decision. We spent a lot of time on our weekly review, so I am making the executive decision. We will not be playing Weddle.
Boo,
However,
Weddle takes 5 minutes. Let's play Weddle.
the decision has been made. It is final. Ben's College Corner is up next. Or I guess College Corner. I apologize. I still have the same title. Guys, I'm rusty. Whatever. I'll shut up.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
Again, still waiting on new drops. But anyways, Ben, I'm going to have you kind of lead us because I have to go and use the restroom really quick. But I'll be shortly. I will be back. So,
Yes.
stick with.
I'm talking about Ohio State, so hopefully you're back here soon enough.
Oh, dear God. I'm so sorry you have to waste your time doing that. This team is not where I thought they would be.
All right. Yes. Again, same old format you guys are used to. We're going to kind of review everything that happened, or at least review kind of the big news that happened, and then we're going to give a couple games to follow in this week of slates. First one, A&M is on an absolute roll. Again, that first week versus Notre Dame was not very fun to watch, hard to stomach, especially coming from someone who was on Connor Wegman early on. But LSU has been on a roll. They beat LSU, and at halftime, it didn't look like that. LSU was up by 10 points. And for Texas to come back and win, put up 28 points, I think the final score of that game. Let me actually look that up. This is elite level podcasting. But for LSU to come back and win 38-23 when at halftime they had a whopping 7 points is absolutely wild. Like, props to you, Texas A&M. And right now, it's them, Texas, and Georgia as the front runners in the SEC, which is absolutely wild to think. Again, when we look back at this team after the first week against Notre Dame, you would not have thought that this team was going to be in there competing for a chance to play in the SEC championship game. So again, props to you. Good job. And it's amazing what happens when Jimbo's gone. Texas quietly almost lost a game to Vandy. Vandy has been one of those very, very fun teams to watch. Diego, their quarterback from New Mexico State, has been so much fun to watch for them. The final score of that game was 27-24. The fact that Vandy hung in there with Texas, I think, is more of a statement to Vandy than it is for Texas. Vandy has been able to hang in there with these SEC top dogs and obviously win some of these games, aka Alabama, has been amazing. And I think that is half of like Diego being good in Vandy, but I think this also kind of speaks to the state of where the SEC is at right now. You have those, the top dog there in Georgia, no pun intended. But then the rest is kind of like intermingling. There's no longer like this crazy tier of these top elite SEC schools beating up on these lower echelon SEC schools like your Arkansas, your Vandy, your Wake Forest and whatnot. These are teams that have time in and time out shown that they can come in and play competitive games. And again, I'm looking at you, Arkansas. I have them in their game as one of the games to watch this week. It has been, again, so much fun to see the prevalence of this Vandy team kind of come to life under kind of leadership of Diego. So awesome for them. And then Ryan isn't back yet, which is an absolute shame. He's probably better off not hearing this one. But man, that Ohio State-Nebraska game was hard to watch, especially coming off of a game where Nebraska got their freaking breaks beat off by IU. We go IU, got to represent. They're killing it. They should be definitely ranked higher than 13. But the college football ranking officially comes out, and that's the one that's more important than the AP. That's besides the point. But for Nebraska to lose 56-7 against IU and then turn around in the next game, play a very competitive game, in a game in which they had a chance to go down the field and win on the last possession against Ohio State, is mind-boggling. And I think that, again, says more to the state of where Ohio State is at right now. Again, that final score of that game was 17-21. And the big concern for me from Ohio State, and I forgot who the Ohio State writer and TikToker was who brought this up, was the state of their run game. You lose Josh Simmons, your starting tackle, in that Oregon game, and ever since then, they have not been able to produce on the ground, which is so scary, man. In this game, they averaged 2.48 rushing yards a carry. They had 28 rushing yards as a team, and you get, arguably the two best running backs creating the best backfield in college football in TreVeyon Henderson and Judkins, and to average 2.4 yards a carry when one of your offensive tackles or offensive linemen is hurt is not good. And I think this stems back to the concerns that we have with Ryan Day. If Ryan Day cannot continue to recruit guys at a school like OSU to the point that one of your offensive linemen is down and you're now almost losing to a Nebraska team, again, that got their brakes beat off them by IU, is concerning. Ryan Day, I think, might be on his way out, especially with the expectation of this team that we went into the year with. We had this team as, I think, the title favorite this year with the roster that they had put together. And now they're here playing, again, these close games with Nebraska. We not here for that. If you're an OSU fan, that IU game in the shoe just became very, very, very scary. And I'm not saying IU will win, but looking into the season, you would have hoped that they would kill IU. And I don't think that's the case at this point in the season. Hopefully they can figure out that offensive line situation and get Quinshon and TreVeyon Henderson going. Because if not,
we're beating Penn State,
I think their
just
hopes.
letting you know.
I hope they can get that on track. Because if they don't, it's gonna be rough. You missed my rant on Ryan Day, which is absolutely
I was listening the entire time. I promise.
Oh, there you go.
It was justified. I will say I liked Oregon more than Ohio State in the beginning of the season.
I have money both on Oregon and Ohio State to win it. And
good bet.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody but Georgia.
Really, that's I'm here for that. Anyone but Georgia and Bama, and I don't even know if Bama's in the conversation at this point. It's rough. That being said, the games that we should kind of be looking forward to, a game that Ryan had just mentioned, 4th-ranked OSU playing at Penn State, 3rd-ranked. And unless this is like an absolute close game where it's like 14-17, I don't think OSU is going to win. Because, again, if they can't get stuff done on the ground and you're forcing to pass the football and your backup tackle is in against Abdul Carter, it's going to get ugly. Again, I can see a world in which OSU wins a close game, but I cannot see OSU blowing Penn State. Pause. But just dominating Penn State. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, buddy. I have Penn State winning this game.
It is what it is. You're a Michigan guy. That's all right.
What's that? You get that? How are
I'm just averaging
2.4 yards a carry with
just
TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins?
Yes. No, I know. It's okay.
Ugly. Pittsburgh versus SMU. Pittsburgh ranked 18. SMU ranked 20. They've looked really, really good since taking Preston Stone out. Good for them. And I was a little peeved about, again, IU being ranked 13 and not being ranked higher. I cannot imagine how Pittsburgh fans are feeling. They're undefeated and they're ranked 18. So as a Pittsburgh fan, you're probably a little upset. And here's a chance to kind of get one of those bigger games against a ranked opponent under your belt and kind of show it and say, hey, look, we actually belong. Please rank us higher. And then the last game is going to be Ole Miss ranked 19 versus Arkansas. And as I said when we talked about Vandy, these lower echelon SEC schools have shown the ability to hang in with these top dogs here in the SEC. Yeah. And Arkansas has already done it once and has kept these games close. Cough, cough, Tennessee. I would not be surprised if Arkansas does it again. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good games. If you're an OSU fan, buckle up because it could become very ugly very, very quickly.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going all out. OSU's beating this team, and not a doubt in my mind. I'm not impressed by Penn State, and if they don't, I'll admit live on air that I have no idea what I'm talking about for college football.
I could cash out my Oregon bet for $6.09. I could cash out on my OSU bet for $3.35. Again, going into the year, they had, I think, the best odds to win it all at plus 400, maybe outside of like Georgia, which is
right.
The fact this team is looking this bad.
Anyways, guys, take it in. Last time you'll see this background. I am so excited. Thank you guys for being along for the ride within the past year and a half. And Ben, I want to say this live on air, just because you deserve some credit as well. So Ben has known that this has been do I say dream of mine? I don't know. It's been a goal, at least, to be able to get, my own spot, with my girlfriend at some point in time. And Ben has been instrumental. I mean, just a huge help with
it all, that's for sure.
And I'm just, the dude's my best friend, and I can't ask for more, from him, just because he's been so much more of a support. He's, believe it or not, so it's been a tough few weeks for me to be able to get everything wrapped up, and I know it doesn't look like I've got it all packed up right now, but I promise you I do. Without diving in too deep, I just want to say, he's been trying to get me on the podcast, and I will not be missing one from a long time, whether I got to do it from my iPad that I got right here or not. I'm back, and it's not. God, dude, it was such a long break, and I felt like such a bum, for not being on my own show. So it feels good to be back. I'm excited. I'll have my own office kind of thing, which, by the way, Ben, I didn't tell you, we don't have a second bed for that bedroom. So anyways, we'll have an office set up for me, getting a new desk. So this thing's going to, kind of get out of here. But a lot's going to be changing for me. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if we get everything put together. If not, I will tap into my broadcast voice and do my own drops. Hopefully we get this made soon. I am just saying from the bottom of my heart to everybody that's been watching recently, thank you for your continued support. Even though, I wasn't here, it still means a lot for me to see that it's not just, me, it's not just for Ben, it's for this show. And it shows me that it's something that we're doing well. I also want to say thank you for sticking with me during my rant. We were getting a little
me too. I did not expect it to get that heated.
Yeah. But anyways, you guys have a happy Halloween. We're almost there. We got about an hour or so left before, the actual clock strikes midnight here. If you're listening, on I guess not delayed, but if you're not listening live when I upload this to streaming platforms, I also want to say thank you. Guys, enjoy football this weekend. Make some money. If you guys win anything, please tag us in these posts or send us a DM. I want to showcase your guys' wins on this show. I think that'd be a cool addition to Pigskin Payout. If you guys hit on a bet this weekend, let me know. Shoot me a DM. If not, maybe shoot Ben a DM. We'll figure something out to where we'll get you on, if you want your name on here or whatever. Also, despite the fact I haven't been on the show, Ben, I didn't tell you this. I have been working effortlessly to try, or not effortlessly, but like I've been putting in a lot of effort to get a big time guest on the show. I'm fingers crossed, hoping it's going to happen. I'm trying to get a couple big name Bears guys on here before divisional matchups start up. Because this is when drama is really going to start to happen. You're going to see a lot more frustration in me, stuff like that.
Sure.
So, I just want to say thank you guys. Stay tuned. And Ben, any closing comments from you?
No, again, just stay safe out there on Halloween. Enjoy the weekend, and always fun. Glad to have you back on our podcast, brother.
All right, guys. We want to thank Spotify for Podcasters, Regional Radio Sports Network, and Uppercuts Grooming. I remembered all of them.
Also,
back.
Thank you, Matt, for holding down the fort too. I know
Matt,
I said
Matt.
earlier, but yes, thank you, Matt.
Yes. But Uppercuts Grooming, everything for helping us promote our podcast. And we'll see you guys next week on the Pigskin Project.